Okay, so this is an isometric exercise, so you're gonna be using a wall, or you could use a partner. And I'll have Cassie help me in just a second for what it would look like as a partner, okay? So you're going about 30 to 50% of power, 3 to 5 second reps, remember that. Okay, so the first set of your horse stance, we're gonna use the outer leg against the wall for a total of 10 reps. So we're gonna get in a horse stance, okay? You can do shikodachi even, that's okay. But the whole purpose is I'm about 45 degrees or so from this wall, and I'm just gonna push from the outside of my thigh into the wall, 30 to 50% of my power, 3 to 5 seconds for a rep. Relax, do it again, relax, do it again. And I'm obviously doing that on both sides of my body, okay? So this thigh and calf is flushed against the wall. The second set, you're gonna face the wall and do the inner leg. So now I'm here, 3 to 5 seconds each, okay? If you find yourself struggling, you're like, well, my wall's completely flat, try to find a corner, or this is what it would look like if you had a partner. So come here real quick, Cassie. So she's gonna stand right here with her right leg in the front, okay? And then I'm gonna do the opposite leg, and we're just gonna push outward for each leg. And then we can do the same thing inward for each leg. So that's how you would do it with a partner. Back stance. Back stance is really, really similar, but I want to do both legs. So outside and inside for each leg, and then pushing back, outside and inside for each one, okay? So you're trying to get, okay, how can I get all parts of my leg that are actually working and all parts of the stance, okay? Now, cat stance. Cat stance is gonna be a little bit different. You're gonna use a belt, not a resistance band. So give me a second. Now, it was a funny little joke that I heard, because I got these exercises from Jesse Enkamp. He has a whole video on these as well. He talks about, don't let somebody from Japan watch you do this, because it's bad juju to step on your belt, okay? But essentially, I do the belt, and the reason why you need the belt is because you don't want movement, you want pressure. And if you have a band, it's able to move. So I bring my belt around my shoulders, and then I just push. I hold this down, and I push the cat stance, and you'll feel it right here, and you do that for both. Yep, you're gonna push your body up. So I step on the center of my belt. It doesn't have to be your karate belt. It could be anything that's wide enough to not hurt your shoulders when you add pressure. So I'm pulling down with my arms, I maintain the stance, and I'm kind of pushing up with my leg, and the belt is helping me have pressure. So the belt in this instance is kind of acting like my own wall, right? Just like that. Doesn't look like much, my goodness, it burns. Left and right leg. Okay, I did put in there, I said, for this type of training, try to build up using all the techniques found in your kata and perform them in the same shape or stance as your kata dictates. So, if you have a horse stance or a back stance or whatever in your kata, do it. If you have kosai dachi in your kata, do it. Same thing in front stance, like I push forward on a front stance, right? I learn to push backward on a front stance. So my knee would be against the wall. Here, pushing in. My heel would be against the wall, pushing back and in as well. So try to start off with these, you're building up to it, you're getting great at it, go from there, and using the rest of the katas. Now I do want to add something about the horse stance. You can increase the angle of your kiba or shikodachi. So I'm starting off, maybe even just a straight 0 degrees, right? Totally perpendicular to the wall. Then I open up to 45. Then I open up a little bit more, maybe even to the point where now I'm at a full 90 degrees against the wall. So that will also help with flexibility, and you'll start realizing that the wider you go, the more the inside that you're starting to work. And then increase that flexibility, especially if you're gonna go on the inside too. Just kind of open up and strengthen the hip flexors. Cool. So you're gonna be using this one. This comes with your ropes. the way that you're gonna do it, you're gonna wrap this around, and then this guy can go in between your D hooks, like this, and then strap, okay? So right here, I'm gonna wrap my ankle. Again, all of these include right and left side. Ankle wrap, D hook, and just go straight. It does not wrap back, it just goes straight across, okay? So for the first one, we're gonna be doing leg extensions, kicking forward from a chambered position. So I have my foot here, I have my foot up, and I'm expanding out. 1, 2, 3, 4. Again, they're explosive exercises, right? For the next one, the band's gonna be pulling from the front. So now I'm here, and I'm expanding 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 10 times, all explosive, okay? Now we're gonna do it with both. Now I have a 50-pound, and I realize that's a 30-pound and a 50-pound. I should have gotten a little bit closer. This is where it really could be beneficial to get 2 sets of these now that I'm realizing what's happening with these. You wanna make sure that you have enough length, and you wanna make sure that it's not loose from each end, but that you have resistance from both. So at this point, I should feel like it's somewhat harder to move my leg in both directions, and that's what I want. And again, 1, 2, 3, and I'm doing that extension. And it's not focusing on the technique per se, it's just allowing that fast twitch motion of both legs moving and pulling the extension from both, okay? Again, you wanna have an equal pull. So if I have a 30-pound and a 30-pound, the distance needs to be the same. Otherwise, I mean, if you really are limiting the distance, you're not actually pulling 30 pounds and 30 pounds. The weight is different, okay? The next exercise has to do with squats, okay? So the first one is where the band is in my hands. Similar to our explosive squats from Tuesday. Now you can use the band or the rope. As I said before, I'm finding the rope being very, very universal or versatile. I wrap around my hands, I step evenly, so I have enough resistance already, and I just come in 1, okay? If you want it up here, that's fine too. 1, 2, and again, you're working on the pushing up, not necessarily the dropping down, okay? Next one, we have it with the staff over the head. So this is what we're gonna do. We're gonna wrap our band around the staff. I'm gonna clip one end, and I'm gonna clip the other end, okay? It doesn't have to be the exact length of your staff, whether it's 5 foot or 6 foot, but what it does need to be, and this is where I would only step 1 foot, needs to be over the head. So now I'm here, 1. What's super important about this is keeping the staff above the head, arms straight the whole time, okay? Now you don't have to have the arms on the inside of the bands. You can have your arms wider than your bands. The wider you go, the better it is for your lower back and your core. Keeping this squat versus that squat, okay? The next one we have is 3 sets with a single leg box squat. Okay, so real quick, before I do the single leg box squat, reminder on these leg extensions to not hyperextend to the point where you're going straight. You should never be doing it to where your knee is completely locked and straight. That's always bad. It's just getting to this position here of 1, 2. So when you're doing that explosive exercise, you're not hyperextending the leg each time. That's bad. Okay, so make sure you're not doing that. Okay, for this one, single leg box squat. I loop mine together, or you could do the band, okay? Either is fine. 1 foot needs to be on your box or your stool or wherever you want. The other is around the neck just like this, okay? So I'm creating this tension. And I'm stepping back and I'm gonna come up, 1. Okay, so I'm focusing on keeping this all connected so I'm not wobbly, I'm completely straight. So make sure whatever surface you use to step on, it's gotta be sturdy, don't have it be wobbly. So up, 1, 2, okay? And that's your single leg box squat. Okay, if you need to shorten the band because the length of your body is not the same as the length of my body, what I would recommend, instead of stepping in the middle, curl a little bit like this, okay? And then step on top of that. Or, so instead of doing my little X, and I step on the intersection of the X, now it's shorter, you can always just make a knot. And now here's my new middle. I mean, it's the same exact thing as the X, just there's a knot there. That's it. Okay, so a static hold exercise really is just maintain that stance for the amount of time that it says. I believe it's 30 seconds for each set. Again, you want to make sure that you're doing right and left side. So if I'm in a front stance, it's not like a dojo front stance where I bend this knee and I'm compressed, I'm ready to go. This is a posing front stance as if it were in kata. So my knee's not completely locked, but let loose from completely locked position. So completely lock it, now let it loose. Don't necessarily bend it, just let it relax. And I'm just gonna hold for 30 seconds. And then 30 seconds. So there's front stance. Now if you notice, I'm only shifting, and my shift is the same width for all my stances minus cat stance. So you can start in Kiba at least twice the width of your shoulders. So from shoulder to shoulder, if that span is, let's just say 20 inches, just to make it easy, then from foot to foot, it should be 40 inches, the span, okay? Hold for 30 seconds. Now, I would focus on developing stances that you want in tournament. So you don't wanna be here, you wanna be here, at least parallel, right? And then from there, keep that same shoulder height for each stance, front stance, back stance. And then Neko Ashidachi, again, try to maintain that same height in your shoulders so that way your legs are equally bent for each 30 seconds.